From the auto segment, while Tata Motors has upped its EV game and how. The auto giant has launched the E version of its SUV Harrier with introductory prices starting 21 lakhs, over 21 lakhs. In fact, speaking with ET Now, the management of the company said that it expects Harrier's EV to turn out to be a big game changer for the company. Let's listen into what the management had to say.
Yeah, so when we were conceptualizing Harrier EV as to what it should offer to the customer, what different it should offer in the high SUV segment, because this is a big segment now, selling about 25,000 cars in the ICE world. And when we saw the customer, who were buying these cars, it came out that these customers are typically an upgrader who would have owned two, three cars in the past, and they are very discerning and sophisticated. They are upgrading themselves for more superior performance, refinement, comfort and convenience, and getting a sense of upgrade by getting the latest technology features in the cars. I said, if this is the requirement, why we don't take it to a level which is completely different, using electric as the technology, which can deliver significantly superior performance. So on top of that, talking about the electric part, because it is electric car, it delivers, because it's a pure EV architecture, it is able to house a big battery pack of 75 kilowatt hour, and it is able to therefore deliver 500 kilometer plus range. The charging speeds are very fast, 250 kilometer you can top in just 15 minutes. It has taken away all the barriers of electrification also. That's why any customer who is thinking of buying a car between 20 lakh and beyond, say in the 10-15 lakh zone, they should actively consider this car, which gives you very different experience and a much superior performance and comfort.
Right. But the tagline here is also delete impossible, and this is the first high SUV in the EV offering from Tata Motors. So my question here is, what are some things that people wouldn't put EV and a high SUV the same sentence for, that the Harrier makes it possible?
Its ability to do, off-road capability with, 10 different kind of modes that are given, right? That also makes it very capable of, this vehicle becomes very capable to go on any road and with confidence, because here the torque delivery is constant, much higher and constant, so its ability to do all those things is very different. Then I talked about so many tech features. Where do you get those features in this segment? So all this makes it, overcoming all the kind of, barriers, and also from an electric perspective. There are so many residual barriers in some of the other electric vehicles still left. It has deleted all those barriers also. So that's why it is delete impossible.
So I would like to zoom out a bit here and talk about the EV landscape for Tata Motors. Now the numbers in May sort of showed a significant reduction in terms of market share for Tata Motors EV offerings. Do you see that continuing, and if not, what are the changes that you're bringing about to make sure that you reach the levels that you were?
No, I have been talking about it, that there's no point getting perturbed about the short-term market share drops here and there, because it's a very small segment. One product can make your market share move here and there. For us, it is important. Two things are important. One, we should keep growing. The second thing which is important, that my long-term approach and strategy takes me to a 50% plus market share. That would mean that I have to break the electric vehicle market into parts, city car part, more versatile part, but still there are barriers still left, and the high SUV segment which is now coming in. In each segment, there are set of actions that we are taking to strengthen the value proposition so that it becomes very compelling for the customers in those sub-segments, so that it also expands the market. And our cars are able to stand fiercely competitive to whatever offerings are there. That action is underway.
But continuing talking about the competition that we were speaking about earlier, I also want to get your thoughts on the EV policy that has been announced, and what does it mean from a competition point of view from the global players that we'll see in India?
I frankly have not gone deep into what this policy entails, because we are not going to be the beneficiary of that. We are already beneficiary of a PLI, which the government has extended to the domestic players. I think we are very appreciative of the government's effort to really promote electric vehicles for the domestic manufacturers also through GST, lower GST rates. States are also coming in for supportive EV policies. Your road taxes are waived. On top of that, there is a support of PLI. Some of the other categories also get, PM e-drive. So there's a lot of support that government has given for the domestic players. So I should rather be more appreciative of that. And if some other entity is also going to get some kind of a benefit, eventually government will take a call in the best interest of the nation. So I leave it there. That's what I would like. One that there is dependency on the rare earth both in the EV world as well as ICE world. In certain cases, there might be alternatives also. In certain cases, you would like to go for some high quality rare earth. There is dependency. So first point is this. But second, whether Tata Motors has any immediate impact, we don't see an immediate impact to this. Third is that both SIAM and ACMA are very closely working with the government, taking their support to address this issue, and government has been very forthcoming on this. So we are hopeful that something will work out.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for us to slip into a very short break. Loads more coming up on the other side. You don't go anywhere.